Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, February 20th, and oh my goodness, this Missouri men's basketball team, I'll tell you, it's you're not doing the Spartacus. Is it Spartacus? Are you not entertained? Who says that? It's not Spartacus.
It's not Spartacus.
That's Russell Crowe in Gladiator.
Yeah, whatever. The Gladiator line. But who is he playing? Marcus Aurelius? Is that his name? No. That's Gladiator. I think are you not entertained?
He's Maximus.
Yeah, Maximus. Okay.
Yeah.
We got there. I think Marcus Aurelius is the emperor that he serves. Anyway, you're not doing the Russell Crowe line from Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Because you are, or at least the neutral fan is. Missouri fans were probably doing, or probably doing what I was doing for most of the end of this game, which was putting your hands on your head and just praying to, whatever deity you could, that the Tigers would not blow a 21-point lead with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go against Vanderbilt. They didn't. If you're watching on the YouTube, Kenny's being very funny. There's an elephant in the room that we have to address. I mean, I don't want to say I owe the Mizzou cohort an apology because I didn't end up needing to because Missouri won the game. But I've got a quick story time, fellas, and you two know most of the details, so it's mostly story time for you fair viewers. I was covering my own high school basketball game tonight for my job. Got home at around halftime of the Mizzou game and was excited because I could watch the second half and I was tuned in and it was, oh boy, this game's moving by pretty slow. We had the double review, which should be illegal, by the way. You should not be allowed to review two separate things on one play. Whatever the ref was doing and said, that was way too much talking from a referee. You had things like that. Game's kind of going slow, but Missouri's cruising, up big time. And I texted Kenny and Payton the text you saw on the screen, which was, hey guys, can you, any thoughts on maybe starting our recap? Because we sometimes like to recap the night of the games at the under 4 timeout because Missouri is winning by so much. We could watch the game kind of end as we talked, and then we wouldn't, have to record so late in the night. I have to confess, I had ulterior motives for why I sent this text message. I wanted to play video games with some of our other friends, and so I wanted to try and get the recap done early. And what I should have done is just said, hey guys, it's late. Let's just record this game tomorrow, and not revealed my true motives. Instead, I tried a wishy-washy in-between thing and sent this text message that you see on the screen basically right when Vanderbilt started going on its enormous run, came all the way back in the game, and I was almost responsible for one of the most insane Mizzou losses in history. The worst part of it is, and you two don't know this, didn't end up playing video games anyway, and we're still recording here on Thursday afternoon.
Are you serious?
So one of the
hold on.
We just didn't record last night for no reason.
You called me and told me this and said we're still going to play. You were very excited. And I told you to keep track of the games.
The two people I was playing video games with, one of them said I'll be on Xbox in 10 minutes. Dozed off and set an alarm accidentally for PM instead of AM and fell asleep. And so never got on Xbox, never materialized. So it never happened anyway. So it was all for nothing. One? I'm not going to, I don't need to reveal that. We'll keep that part. We'll keep that part private as to who fell asleep.
Man. I wish I knew the actual time. I was trying to sync it up to figure out if I could. You sent this text at 10:04 Central Time.
Yep.
And then by 10:07, you said, okay, I'm at fault for us losing F's sake. And I even replied, I think I sent the text at the same time and said, all right, maybe not. We're not doing this. Because I think that was right when we sent that was when they scored, Vanderbilt scored its 9th point in 40 seconds. And it became an 11-point game.
Yeah,
I think
it was
down,
right
at
before
least down
that
to 10.
run. Yeah, it was almost right when that run happened. And yeah, I got selfish. I have to admit, I had selfish intentions, and I very nearly did the most obvious jinx that you never do when the team you're following is upsetting a very good ranked team. And so Mizzou fans, I guess I apologize, but you know what? Missouri won the game, so I'm feeling a whole lot less worse than I would have felt had Tanner's buzzer beater from half court gone in. And yeah, so there's my story time.
Do we forgive him, Kenny?
If he had played, yes, because he was pretty excited. He called me about this, and I was like, another thing we need to do, we need to stop telling each other things, just write it down, tell it on the show. I think it'd be a lot better. But you were pretty excited, and I was telling you, I was like, you're going to have the worst games of your life. You're going to go into Call of Duty, and you're going to have the worst games of your life in this game. Yep. And you understood, like, you were going to lose every single one, and I was looking forward to seeing your results.
Yeah, I have none to give you. It didn't even happen. It was all for nothing. And I don't know. I think this is we're now going to wait for Kenny to do something almost catastrophic, because now we have Payton not hitting the record button. I nearly lost Mizzou a basketball game. Now it's Kenny's turn to take the blame for something. What event will transpire that will relate to this show in some way that will be detrimental to its potential outcome? I don't know.
Payton has 2.
What's the other one?
It was a very important interview with an NFL running back we did.
Yes. For the record, nobody reminded me that was happening the next day. I do take ownership, and I felt terrible about it, but nobody told me that was happening. Like, I totally, there was just it was just, I woke up at noon or whatever it was that day, because my old job used to have me working some late nights. So I slept in a lot. I just woke up at noon to a, hey, where are you text, and maybe one phone call. I was like, what's going on?
Those sound like reminders.
Yeah, they were while you were already on the show. Mm. While I was fast asleep.
I would have let it go. I would have. But the higher being has a very good sense of humor, because that running back signed with your favorite NFL team, your favorite sports team in the world. And that's why I will never let that go. I think that part is the best. In a good way. In a good way. I'm keeping it around because we're having fun with it.
Shout out to Ian Wheeler. Great interview. Great guy.
It was not funny to me at the time. I felt really terrible.
So there you go. If you want some reason as to why Mizzou, what happened in the final 8 minutes of that game happened, other than, what actually happened on the court, I've given you one. But guess what? Mizzou won. Everyone could take a deep breath, and let's talk about and debrief this just absolutely insane game. Missouri 81, Vanderbilt 80. It was ended up being really wild. Didn't feel like it was going that way. Missouri was absolutely cruising. One of the first things I wrote down when I started watching is, wow, this is finally, I'd said last show to you, Payton, that, it feels like Missouri lets other teams do things that they're good at better than them in some of these losses. And finally, that script kind of ended up flipping around, at least in the first half. Missouri could not miss a shot. They went 6 for 13 from 3 in the first half. Vanderbilt, a normally very good 3-point shooting team, was 3 for 11, and they end up finishing 40% from 3 because of what they did in that final sequence. But I do think, and I'm going to put this out of the way now. I know you two agree. The NCAA Tournament Committee, whoever, you're looking at who's making these decisions, is not going to look at the last 8 minutes of Mizzou Vanderbilt when evaluating any sort of resume. They are going to look at Missouri got a quad 1A win over a ranked SEC team by 1 point. That is just the reality. It is truly kind of a win's a win thing. And I think there are important positives to focus on still from Missouri that I think is fitting to start with. I'll take it in a direction first. I think this was a consensus opinion on this. This was T.O. Barrett's best game, maybe just in general, but for sure operating as the point guard for this Missouri team. He finishes with 16 points, did only shoot 3 for 10 from the field, not the most efficient, but made.
I was going to say, I don't think he had a very good first half personally, but.
That's fair. You could talk about that, but 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Another thing that Missouri, other teams do well that Missouri typically does not, had a decent night from the charity stripe, but the 5 assists, he got 3 of those in a stretch in the second half that were just some magnificent passes that set up, I think, a Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce 3, and then I think another Trent Pierce maybe dunk. I guess, Payton, you already kind of answered my question that I was going to ask off that, but is this finally like the T.O. Barrett leap game? Did he turn a corner for either of you two?
I mean, I thought it was like the first 4 minutes of the second half were the best point guard he's ever played for sure. But I mean, still not like a perfect game to me. I thought he was very good in this one. But there's still, I still think he at times slipped into some bad habits. The turnover, he only had 2 turnovers, but a lot of his passes to Phillips I thought were rather ill-advised in general. Also, he does not need to take 5 3-pointers and a half. I know he made 2 of them, but I don't think he really needs to make a habit of that. But no, he did play very well. Again, I mean, there's no reason to move him from the starting lineup at this point. So, yeah, I thought it was overall a solid game, although I do think his first half was a little bit wonky.
Jaden Stone called him the best guard coming into camp this past summer. I thought that was telling of, the kind of the trust and the belief that they had in him. And it's, going to be rooting on his teammates and, pretty high on them to begin with. But I thought that was, a good, speak to this, the confidence and the development that has happened with T.O. Barrett. And I wish I'm going to start doing this. We're going to write it down, the times of the game when this happened. But there was like a sequence, like 15 seconds where his handle looked impressive. I mean, it was like something I hadn't seen from T.O. Barrett before. And he makes a cross-court pass just on a string and I think it was to Trent Pierce, and he makes a 3, or it might have been to Jaden Stone. It was one of the 2. And it just kind of felt like, wow, like, it's kind of all coming together too at the same time. I think it's very exciting times for T.O. Barrett, and T.O. Barrett fan account too on the Mizzou Today board.
Yeah, whoever that
may be.
I agree. I just think, I mean, it still has to be kind of continually strung together. He has to add a little bit of a scoring punch with it, at other levels than just, around the rim. But man, when he is on, it is really difficult for defenses to stop him. I think you're right, Kenny. Like there was a stretch there where he was doing whatever he wanted with the ball in his hands. And that was really impressive. The other guy, Payton, then, I mean, what did you think of Anthony Robinson? 13 points in this game. He shot 3 of 4 from the field. He made 6 of his 7 free throws. Did miss one late. So the one miss was had a little bit of weight there to it. But I mean, this is a game, 5 guys finishing double figures for Missouri, and Ant was one of them. I mean, it felt like at times we were seeing a little bit of the old Ant with the aggressiveness, the no fear. I liked that in terms of a positive step in what has otherwise been a disappointing season. I'm glad you brought up the Jaden Stone thing, Kenny. That is kind of wild to say, because I believe Ant was around for that quip that he made. I
think he just walked away.
Okay.
I think that's also something like Jaden Stone, and you've seen it, the maturity. I haven't pointed this out. Jaden Stone is older than both of you guys. And I think there's a lot of maturity there too. And I know he wouldn't say something to
but not you
down.
Unk.
Yeah, Unk. We're both Unk. This past weekend, I know we're kind of going off a tangent. I was called old so much about brown people that are only 2 classes younger than us. And going back to Jaden Stone, I think there's a lot of maturity there, just like me, very mature people that, we wouldn't say that around Ant because it's a guy who's trying to get all his confidence back. And you've seen it in stretches that Anthony Robinson and Payton had a great tweet about it of the clip from Moneyball of Brad Pitt, your son, going like this, looking up. And I think there's still something there, and it's still coming back in flashes. And it's very good to see.
Does he actually get the True Son moniker? Because he didn't.
No, I guess he quit. Yeah, he quit on the True Son.
I give it to him. I don't care.
He was pretty close, I remember, but
he's too big a celeb to not embrace that.
Yeah, I mean, with Brad Pitt, or not Brad Pitt, with Anthony Robinson.
I thought you were going to keep building on this. I was like, oh, are we going to have like a Brad Pitt?
With
like...
Anthony Robinson, certainly signs of life the last couple games. Definitely what you want to see. I didn't think yesterday was like a traditional good Ant game. He was a bit sloppy with the ball. I think he had 3 turnovers, and I don't even know if he had an assist. But, I mean, you like to see him being confident in his shot again. The 3-pointer he made was a big one. And, I mean, for him to actually shoot well from the line is pretty great as well, because he has just been inexplicably awful from the charity stripe this year.
Yeah, that free throw shooting as a whole was really big for Missouri. I think I was impressed, like we said with Tio, in flashes, with what Ant brought. The other thought I had about this game, now kind of thinking about these Vanderbilt and Texas A&M games, does it say, like, what does it say to you guys about, like, for Mark Mitchell with, these are 2 games now where you'd expect him to maybe have a stronger day. Vanderbilt and Texas A&M don't have much size. He should be able to kind of do what he wants. And now it's 2 games where he's not as impactful offensively, certainly with the scoring, 10 points. And actually, I don't want to take too much away from him, because he did have 9 assists in this game, which, to go back to our draft stock conversation, if you want to raise something with Mark Mitchell, that's a huge thing that he's building. But this is 2 games now where he hasn't really gotten going, and it almost feels like our other teams, and it's 2 games Missouri has won, and I'm almost thinking our other teams investing that can't, don't have guys that can play one-on-one with Mark Mitchell. They don't have the right help defenders they can offer with size and ability in the paint to kind of counter what he does. Are they almost over-investing in what he does, and that's kind of creating these avenues for these other guys to have success?
Can I want to jump in first on this one. I was on a radio show in Kansas City this past week, and this question came up, Jack. It was like the same thing of, Mark Mitchell didn't have the best, offensive performance against against Texas A&M. Where does he kind of make up on that? And he had 8 assists in that game. He had a couple of rebounds as well, 4 rebounds. And I think that's where it has to come from. If the shots aren't falling, and I think the broadcast even said he doesn't force shots. I mean, that's his whole game. He's trying to get as much as he can to the rim. And I think the only way times you're winning these games is when Vanderbilt or Texas A&M, they're trying to do as much as they can defensively to erase him, because he is the best player on the floor. He is your Kobe Brown. He is your Demoy Hodge a couple years ago. He's going to be the guy that you're going to get the ball to.
They play for the same team.
No, okay. Well, let's go Kobe Brown and then Tamar Bates there. You know what I mean? It's like Amari Davis. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the year before.
Yeah, Amari Davis the year before.
Anywho.
But from that perspective, though, as even Bucky McMillan mentioned it, is that they were doing so much to try to just stop Mizzou. And it's just like everything that Mizzou brought to them was things that they hadn't seen yet. And I think from the perspective of, trying to erase Mark Mitchell offensively, you're not really erasing him as much in what he can do as a passer and what he can facilitate. And you saw that at the end of the Texas A&M game. And I think that was a perfect example. Was not the best scorer, and he has a perfect lob and some perfect passes on the inside to Sean Phillips. And I think that's the best part that you can get out of Mark Mitchell when these teams are doubling him and trying to erase him offensively.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Mitchell has just become a passing savant this year. I mean, a lot of times the Vanderbilt game included last year, we saw him get doubled and not really do very effective things with it. He turned it over a lot more than he has this year with it. I mean, just the fact that Mark Mitchell is able to lead your team in assists when he's having an off night from the field is pretty valuable, to say the least. I think that certainly proves to me, and it should prove to everyone else, that this is a first team all SEC guy.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a conversation that has to be had about it. I say again, if you look at pro stock and that potential, I mean, that is a growth area that could be super big for him. Guess what? He made his 1 3-point attempt in this game too. Alert the masses. Payton, what was your major takeaway in terms of the thing that impressed you the most from Missouri in the first? I'm gonna do this math wrong. 24 minutes of this game before the Vanderbilt comeback?
First 32.
It's 32. Sorry. The first 32 minutes that gave you, gives you the most excitement in terms of Missouri maybe being able to pull this off again, in one of these other games, or just, get to that 10-win threshold that we think they all need to get to.
I feel like you want me to talk about Trent Burns.
No.
So I'm going to talk about Trent Pierce. I thought Trent Pierce, after a rough first few minutes, was really, really excellent. Made some really big shots. He's not fantastic on defense right now, and I'd still like to see him be a little more active on the boards, especially against a Vanderbilt team that doesn't really have as much size as others in the conference. But I still think Pierce, the offensive game in general, has just exploded. He and Jaden Stone were sorely missed in December. I think it's pretty fair to say that. There's no way they would have ever beaten Illinois with both of them on that night, and they probably would not have beaten Kansas either. But you'd have to think they probably flipped Notre Dame, and that certainly would be a nice thing to say at this point in the season, is that you didn't lose to Notre Dame. But Pierce, even just looking beyond, I think he's such a piece to be excited about going into next year, especially when you need guys to fill around Jason Crow Jr., who will be starting next year, despite what you two think. They need competent offensive pieces to kind of help him if teams are able to key in on Crow, and I think Pierce is showing he can do that.
You got a comment, Kenny?
No, we can talk about Trent Burns now. I don't know why he just went into a tangent on someone who's not on the current team, a team that's trying to make the NCAA tournament. He's looking ahead. He's looking too far ahead right now. How about we talk about Trent Burns? Dennis Gates gave him a shout out after the game, called him the MVP of this game, and I would have only accepted that if Dickie Nutt had walked into that locker room and said, "Burns!" But he did not. But I think this is a little bit different from the Mabor performance against Tennessee 2 or 3 years ago now. 3 years ago. So stepping up with Phillips, with Sean Phillips in foul trouble most of this game. It's still clear, Trent Burns is a very raw player. You can see it just sometimes his footing and his hands trying to get on the ball. It wasn't, his probably most effective night of what he probably wanted on the floor, but I still think at times he was still efficient in this one. He had 7 defensive rebounds. He had a block. I think, putting that together, that's exactly what he needed to do. 5 rebounds in the second half on the defensive side. That's just what he needed to bring to this offense and defense. And I think you're fine with Trent Burns' performance. He did exactly what he needs to do in this one.
Best plus minus on the team by a mile.
Yeah, he was plus 19 in 18 minutes. I love the decision. I think, we've seen Sean Phillips, frankly, run into some trouble with fouling and technicals and some flagrants in every game this year. But, I think especially in this one against the smaller Vanderbilt team, to bring a guy who's a little bit more, kind of lanky, and I don't want to say versatile, because I think Trent Pierce has a long way to go, or Trent Burns has a long way to go in his game. But I think this was a great game to use him against a team that does not have the, enormous bodies that you can just throw down in the paint and sort of ragdoll against skinnier bigs and skinnier post players. I really liked the choice. I think Trent Burns grew into the game really well. And like Kenny said, did exactly what he needed to do. So whether or not that continues, I don't know, but I like it as a wrinkle against a smaller team. I really do. You can give Sean Phillips a little bit of a break. Trent Burns is, I think, a different kind of big that you can throw at a team that already is going to struggle to contend with that kind of size and just, ability to get up around the rim where he can live with his frame and his wingspan and all that. It's, it could be a nice wrinkle, but I'm not getting my hopes up for Trent Burns 18 minutes a game going forward.
No, not at all. But I will say it's just kind of interesting to look at the dichotomy, because you go back to, I'm 99% sure it was the South Carolina game, which we didn't recap for some reason. I have no idea. That game, Burns was in for just a minute. When Phillips was in foul trouble, and South Carolina went on their only real run of the game. There was some discussion about like, really, why do we even put in Trent Burns? Nick Randall, there was some talk about him. He played a lot in that game, played much better. It was kind of the opposite last night. Randall came in, played a, unfortunately, pretty poor minute. It was not good. And Burns came in and played excellent. So I wonder if Dennis, in an ideal world, Dennis does not have to play either more than a few minutes a game. But sometimes Sean Phillips just gets bit by the foul bug. You're going to have to go to one of those two. It'll be interesting to see the trust level he has in one of Randall or Burns. It's probably going to be a bit of a hot hand thing. And last night it was certainly Burns. Burns was not perfect, but he did a lot of really nice things, I thought.
I forget who the analyst was last night. It wasn't Sunvold, was it? I don't think
it was
so.
Sunvold.
It was Sunvold. Okay, I sometimes get his voice mixed up. But he pointed out too that when they threw him out there against Florida and he hit that 3, I mean, they just kind of, Dennis has figured out a little bit of using some of these guys, even if it's like I don't even know how to like what other sport to like articulate it to, like almost like if it's just a bullpen pitcher, maybe an extra innings where they're just playing 1 inning and just they're a specialist. I don't know. But they're
trying to make baseball.
Yeah.
A loogie. He's talking about a loogie.
Talking about a loogie. Yeah. Matchup. You're talking about Kolarek getting Soto out essentially.
I hope that's yes. I hope that's what I am.
It is, Kenny. Back me up here.
Control. Okay.
The only issue is the loogie doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, loogies don't really.
Right.
Because you have to face a minimum of 3 or you have to finish the inning.
Sure.
More tangents. This has been a great show.
No, that but
the inning.
It still makes my point in terms of like, you can come in, you can throw these guys in and they've had some success doing these little roles or having these little stretches of minutes. But yeah, good for Trent Burns. And I mean, Jaden Stone, 19.7 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnovers. That is as good of an outing as I think you can really ask for him, unless you're just talking an extremely efficient game and he gets up to like 30. But his explosive scoring potential is just really, really nice. And he felt like he was shooting more confident in this game. Sometimes the 3 can just escape him. And, I think you have to shout out the leading scorer in this game, Payton, if you're Mizzou talking about escaping with a 1-point win against a ranked team.
Yeah, let's talk a little more about Ant Robinson. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. Jaden Stone, I mean, Dennis used to call Isaiah Mosley, who, had he played all year, Missouri would have been a Final Four team. He called Isaiah Mosley Mr. Microwave. I think it was after the Coastal Carolina game. That is, I think, another perfect description for Jaden Stone, because are just sometimes a few minute stretches where Jaden Stone is straight up takeover mode and just hits a couple threes, makes a couple tough buckets. I like that he's been a lot better on the free throw line as of late, because I remember earlier in the year he had a couple games where he just missed a bunch for some reason. But he really can't. There's not much else we can add about Jaden Stone. He was maybe the portal pickup of the offseason in this conference. This was a guy that seemed like he thought he was done playing basketball after his injury at West Virginia. Not a guy. I think we kept calling him just a wild card. We had no idea what we'd get out of Jaden Stone in the offseason. And it has been, they hit the jackpot with this guy.
I'm forgetting his name. There was a comparison that was made ahead of the season to he played 1 season with Missouri last year. He came over from Kentucky. Yeah, Marcus Warwick was who he was compared to. I think he's smashed that ceiling. I don't think
he's better than Mark.
He's looking down at that ceiling right now. He's going up into the helicopter on the. He's going like this.
I mean, is there an all league argument you make for him too?
Shorts, by the way. I'm sorry. What was that, Knowlton?
I wonder if there's an all league argument you make for him too. I mean, he's at 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, shooting 50, 41, and almost 80 from the free throw line. Maybe he hasn't played enough games. But
think of some of the guards in this conference.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they played an all-league guard last night, Tyler Tanner, who was excellent. You got guys like Acuff, Owe. I just think there's probably too many guys in front of him.
Probably. He's been excellent, though. He deserves a little bit of
Hubbard.
Biggest how nervous and I will shout out Matt J. Harris on X because he posted the turnover percentage stats with the full court press. How worried did that make you with how Missouri handled that? Because it seems like a dumb question, but again, when I go back to A&M, who very clearly a worse team than Vanderbilt, A&M tried to press them all game too, and it was fine. But yeah, I don't know what I mean. It was. I watched. We have to mention it in Missouri. It didn't end up costing Missouri the game, but it nearly cost them a 21-point comeback. I've seen high school teams break presses better than what I saw last night, Wednesday night.
I think, and I know Dennis Gates is going to preach it all the time, but guys just get complacent when they're up 20. I think that had a lot to do with it. They just figured, well, the lead's down to 12. It's fine. We'll be fine. And they just didn't really. I didn't feel like they were as focused and locked in as they needed to be to kind of break it. They kept just kind of dribbling off into the corner. I mean, the Ant one, I could not believe Dennis didn't take a timeout on it. They were just giving possessions away, and Vanderbilt was starting to make them. I mean, the thing that bothered me a lot, too, was when they would break the press, there were a couple times where Pierce and Stone had, 2-on-1s. Just go score, man. There's 3-4 minutes left.
This has been a theme. This has been a theme for Dennis Gates teams over the years. This has happened. You can go back to the other two good seasons. They do this where they will start time wasting with 5+ minutes left in games that they're winning by, 10 and 15 plus. This is a tendency with him.
And I mean, even last night where you are only up 3, actually, Vanderbilt can play you straight up and get the ball with 20 seconds. I mean, T.O. didn't get into any action until there was 8 seconds left.
And the action he got in was run at hoop and throw up shot. I mean, it was
it was horrible. But again, all's well ends well. If people want to be really angry about the way that game finished, they can be. It does not matter. Right. It really doesn't matter how they get these wins right now. They have to get to 11. I don't think 10 will do it. They have to get 11 SEC wins. They got an 8th one last night. It was over a top 20 team. The difference between the way they won last night and how they could have won is probably a couple metric spots. And I just don't think that'll really matter that much if they get to 11 SEC wins.
So you think it's 11? Still,
I don't. I mean, think about it right now. They're the last team in, according to Lenardi. Yeah. I get it. Lenardi's not the committee, but they're the last team in right now. If they lose Saturday, they're back out probably. They beat Oklahoma and Mississippi State, but then lose to Arkansas again and Tennessee again. Does that really put them on the right side of the bubble? I don't think it does. I don't think 10 will do it. I think it's got to be 11. And I've said 11 coming into SEC play, and I still feel that way.
Okay.
What about the tournament? So if you do finish with 10, where's your mind going into the SEC tournament? How big of an impact do you think Missouri could pick up there?
The committee has shown before they don't value it that much. A&M a few years ago kept sitting on the 7 seed.
Oh yeah.
And they went on a crazy run to the SEC tournament final. This was the year Missouri was the 4 seed, and they did not move up hardly at all. They maybe moved up 1 seed line. So I think if Missouri gets 10 regular season and they go in and let's say they're on the 8-9 line, they beat, I don't know, Georgia, and then you go and
8-9 line of the SEC.
Yes, 8-9 line of the SEC.
Wasn't sure.
Then you go on and you upset a team like one of the top 4 seeds, it'd have to be the one in that instance, so Florida. Then that
not impossible.
But they've shown it, but I won't bet on that again. Then that probably does it for you, but I don't think 10 regular season wins plus a Georgia SEC tournament win is going to move the needle enough for them. I think they need to get 11 regular season, and that includes almost the easiest path there is Oklahoma and Mississippi State, which are not gimmies, but if you're mapping a path to the tournament, you kind of got to assume those are in your back pocket because you're not going to beat. I don't think you're getting more than one of Tennessee and 2 Arkansas games if you get any of those. So the path has probably got to be take the 2 you're probably going to be picked to win in, and then you're going to have to swipe 1. I think Tennessee at home is doable. Arkansas at home certainly is doable.
Arkansas is a interesting. I mean, they're very hurt right now. They've got 7 guys. They just went in
had to play double overtime
the other day
and didn't even get the win last night. So,
but that game though did make me think who has been the guy. What game has it been this year where it's just been one guy that have they allowed a guy or on multiple occasions a guy to go for 30 plus? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. No, Missouri.
Oh,
I was trying to think who's maybe done that in SEC play because I can't remember if anyone has off the top of my head because I just watched
a really good game. Sutton on LSU had a really good game.
Oh yeah, he played well.
30.
Kenny might research, but it made me think of it because Acuff went for 49 for Arkansas, and that guy's going to be a freaking problem on Saturday. He is a NBA player.
Big time challenge for Anton T.O. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then it was Hubbard from Mississippi State, who's another guy Missouri's got to face again, who I think he had 36 in the first half. And, I'm waiting for Missouri to have one of those games against it with a guy just goes for 50 or 40. Because we've seen it a lot more in college basketball this year with some of these talented guards. So it'll be interesting. This team is now, funnily enough, in a 4-way tie for 4th place in the SEC. Sorry, 5-way tie. Vandy, A&M, Texas, and Kentucky are all 8-5, as well as Missouri. The net there 59th. Ken Palm, believe 52nd still. 52nd offense, 90 in defense, 240 in tempo. I'll let Payton say Bart Torvik because he's Mr. Bart Torvik if he has in front of him.
They were 48 this morning.
Do you want those numbers for?
Just who, if you know who has had the best, game.
So it's Sutton and Store. We're both at 26.
Store, that's right. Store had that big game.
It was Store and who?
And Sutton. You were right. LSU.
All the 2 guys I said. This guy.
They haven't allowed a guy to go over 30. That's my Arkansas previews. I mean, that guy Acuff, like it's not even the 3-point shooting. His ability at the mid range is ridiculous.
I will say, I haven't watched every second of Arkansas, but I mean, I've watched a decent amount. Just kind of looking into it. Their fans are not a fan of them either. Like their front court is kind of a weakness. It seems like for them. So.
It's just Brazil who, and I realize, we might not be able to say anything super objective with him, but like, again, kind of more of a rangy forward who is kind of having to play center for them. And, it's kind of a similar to Trent Burns situation where it's like, you throw a bunch of bodies at him, you can kind of screen him out of some of the games, but he does have a lot of length and he's explosive. But yeah, it's not a super deep front court. And I don't think Pringle's had a very good year. He might even be hurt.
I know that most people are not a fan of him, like in Razorback land.
Yeah, he's not had a very good, not a superb season. So
he did play last night. He played 23 minutes, and in a game where Arkansas scored 115, he had 3.
Yeah, in a revenge game for him too.
Yeah, he fouled out.
Back to his old stomping grounds. Well, that's not a overt shocker.
I will point out Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt on Wednesday is the one who has the most against Mizzou in conference play this year.
27.
27. So they haven't had a lot.
And he had the flu, apparently.
They haven't let a guy go for 30, but there's a couple that might be able to sniff it, Acuff and Hubbard, which for the Hubbard one, that says a little bit more about Mississippi State than it does about him, maybe. But he's a very good player. I'm a fan of Josh Hubbard. I want that out there. So yeah, 3 p.m. ESPN for that game at Arkansas on Saturday. Payton looked like he was about to say something.
I'm looking at the box score. It's ridiculous for this game. Arkansas had 3 of its starters foul out and DJ Wagner off the bench foul out. So, I mean, they were running guys who I've never heard of out there.
Yeah, they only had a 7-man lineup, I know, at the in the beginning of that game.
It stretched to 9 because of all the foul outs.
Our friend of the program, Anthony Christensen, told me that the guys that came in were, I don't think are walk-ons, but are essentially walk-ons with how little they've played, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're coming off that insane game against Bama, and they're going to be back home for that one. They have a very good home record. So we'll see how it goes. That would be another major one for Mizzou to steal, and then you can start, if they get that one, you start having a lot more comfortable conversations heading into Tennessee and then Miss State, Oklahoma, and a return trip to Arkansas. What a game, fellas. What a game. This team, are you not entertained? They never cease to amaze with some of the results this year. But they still are in big-time tournament contention. This was one Missouri had to have. And we will finish off the show on the other side with the good old quick hits. All right, quick hits time. Thank you for putting up with our long-winded Mizzou Vandy segment, but there's a lot to talk about. Kenny, Jersey of the Week.
My Jersey of the Week goes to former Missouri big man Jeremiah Tilmon. He's on the 2026 February USA Men's World Cup qualifying team. Some other names that people might know: Brandon Knight.
It's a cast of characters.
That's what I was just stopped there. But James Wiseman's also on here.
Alfred Payton, man.
Yeah.
Jaden Shackelford.
What is that? Like, what is this event?
JRE's on this team. David Roddy. You guys remember David Roddy?
What is FIBA? Like, is it at the Olympics?
No. The FIBA World Cup. It's just the basketball World Cup, like the soccer.
When did that start?
It's been a thing. It's usually the teams aren't like as super powered.
They don't. Yeah, it's not like the Olympics.
Or even outright good, it looks like.
Hey, Jeremiah Tillman's on it.
Yeah, but so is Brandon Knight.
It is a really funny cast of characters. Shout out James Wiseman. Number 2 pick.
My bird connection, Jeremiah Tilmon was a flyer at East St. Louis. We've used that before as a bird connection. This isn't the main. We've used it as a bird connection before because planes fly, and he went to East St. Louis. It was a flyer.
It's a good one. Peyton, your jersey. Congrats, Jeremiah Tilmon. That'll be fun.
My jersey, it's really going to be a leotard of the week, is Mizzou Gymnastics. They were ranked number 8 nationally, and they had some individual rankings as well. They had Horton. What is her first name? I'm so sorry. I can't read that. Hannah Horton, 13th on vault and floor. Kimara Eccles, thank you. Number 3 on bars. Kennedy Griffin, number 7 on floor. Next photo.
Next slide.
They're number 5 on floor exercise. Next photo. Number 7 on balance beam. Next photo. Number 8 on uneven bars. And number 8 on vault. Final photo. Number 8 overall. Who do they play next, guys? Do you know?
I was looking as you researched. They are hosting the Mizzou Quad. It's actually starting when you guys are listening to this podcast. It is on Friday. Illinois rivalry. They've got Illinois, Ball State, and Air Force are all competing in it.
Elise Tisler is ranked 8 overall. There you go. I felt like I was back in like high school watching a presentation.
Yes, Mizzou Gym elite. My jersey of the week, it's going to go to Josiah Trotter. Josiah Trotter made a great choice in interview to give an exclusive interview to. He interviewed our good friend Jacob Infante over at, is it Pro Football Sports Network, guys? Is that what it is? Infante, our friend, been on the program a couple times. He works for Pro Football Sports Network and did an exclusive interview talking with Josiah Trotter just about his rise up the draft boards. Obviously, is a very NFL DNA and is with his brother and his father. And so go check that out. Shout out Jacob for doing that interview. Shout out Josiah Trotter for being really good at football, and hopefully gonna make himself a bunch of money.
Too good. Missouri only got him for a year.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's the conundrum, right? You want your team to produce professional players, but you also want your team to have players that are really good for a while. It's tough. Can't have both.
I'll spoil some of this because he told me about this interview ahead of time. He asked Josiah Trotter for one player to be like on the lookout for in the NFL draft from Mizzou. That's probably like not in that group of guys like Zion Young and himself. Who do you think he said?
Ooh.
McClellan or Pride?
Jack?
I was gonna go with a non-Mizzou pick.
No, it's a Mizzou pick.
It is a Mizzou pick.
He said Mizzou, yeah.
Payton's answer seemed good. McClellan.
It's Toriano Pride.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Nice. Good. It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
I like Jacob Infante, so I'm happy he was able to get this interview. Do you like Jacob, Kenny?
Was it exclusive?
It says exclusive.
It says
I didn't know. I mean, was it exclusive?
Right there.
I used the Oxford comma though.
Oh.
Hey, he didn't take the J school classes. All right, he's no big
Come
J.
on, Jake, sir.
I like
all right.
no cap, and he's the main bird.
Sean East, main bird of the week. Kenny.
Jersey of the week goes to a friend of the program, Peter Zimmermann, former Mizzou first baseman.
I like no cap, and he's the main bird. No, I like no cap, and he's the main bird.
My jersey of the week goes to Peter Zimmermann.
I like no cap, and he's the main bird.
My main bird of the week goes to Peter Zimmermann, former Mizzou first baseman, DH, in front of the program. I think of any podcast Peter Zimmerman's been on, and I think it's very limited to how many he's been on. He's been on this one the most, at least twice. But he signed a new professional contract with the Dock Hounds. And my bird connection is that he was with the Canaries, so this independent baseball, not affiliated with Major League Baseball. But I think that's a lot of fun. The Dock Hounds, that's a good team name.
I love this graphic. This graphic is sick. Look at the dogs. All over.
My grandparents live very close to the Lake Country Dock Hounds venue. It's in a actually okay. Well, can you look up Lake Country Dock Hounds? I want you guys to try and pronounce the town that they play in. This will be a fun exercise. See where it says based in? Yeah, go ahead. Nope, not you, Payton. I know you know this. How do you say that, Kenny?
Oconomowoc.
Oconomowoc.
It's
there's an M. I didn't see that.
It's actually really easy to spell because every other letter is an O. It's OCONOMOWOC. Shout out Oconomowoc.
What are your favorite
the big O
names of Wisconsin towns, Knowlton?
Ashwaubenon, Kaukauna.
Kaukauna is a good one. I think he's about to dox you, Kenny. Or Knowlton. Formerly dox you.
Oh, yeah, he's close. Oh, wrong way. Let's move on. Let's move on, Payton. Who's your main bird of the week?
My main bird of the week has got to be Mick Cronin. If you're looking for a bird connection, he used to be a Louisville Cardinal. He was an assistant there before he got the Murray State head coaching job. And maybe he was a little more jolly back then.
Whoa, Payton. Jeez, are you raising your voice at me when you do this segment? Calm down.
Yes, Mick Cronin has just flown completely off the rails this year. I mean, the guy has always been a bit of a complainer in his time at UCLA. He has been an outspoken critic of Big Ten travel, even though they signed up for it, whatever. He totally his most unhinged press conference finally happened after they were beaten pretty soundly by Michigan State. It overshadowed the fact that he ejected his own player, sent one of his own players back to the locker room, which is already, I think, a bit. I'll stop short of saying embarrassing. I think it's a little silly. But then a reporter asks him in the postgame what he thought about Michigan State's student section chanting something at a player. I don't even
think he got off what they were saying.
Yeah, like, and Mick Cronin just was like not even close to entertaining. He told the guy to F off, basically. And then he kind of kept chirping back with the reporter. The reporter was not doing much, but Mick just kept letting him have it. And then Mick, as the next question is already being asked of him, still has not had enough. He turns back to the guy and goes, "Do you really think I give a rat's ass about the student section," or something along those lines? Yeah. And the reporter goes, "No, I don't think you care." And then Mick just goes, "Are you raising your voice at me?" And then the guy goes, "No, you psycho. I'm not raising my voice at you." And Mick's like, "Yeah, you are. There's cameras, dude. Everyone's here seeing you." Like everyone's going to be on Mick Cronin's side. This is the most Looney Tunes press conference I've ever seen, to the point where it stops being like offensive to me. It's just hilarious. Like how in the wrong he is.
Can I add that does it make it better that it looks like they're just in a tunnel under the arena
they're just
instead
in,
of like
it looks like they're out like right outside their locker room or something. Yeah. It's just a hilarious like press conference in a series. Like it feels like Mick Cronin's about to be fired. Like these press conferences are so bizarre. But as our good friend Luke Magnanti, who's a UCLA fan, pointed out, he just got extended.
Yeah, $22 million
handle for like no reason.
I was actually gonna be on my soapbox as a reporter and get mad about coaches treating reporters like this, but the way Payton retold it has just flipped my mentality on it. This is hilarious, and it's just
ordinarily I'm like totally on your side. I'm like, Jesus, like these coaches are ridiculous, but this is just so like it's a cartoon.
Yeah,
like, you can't write anything dumber than this. Like his response is just so out of line. It cracks me up. Like it really does.
I mean, we've already seen one coach get
raising
fired.
Your voice at me is just insanity.
We've seen one college basketball coach get fired, kind of for similar wild, outlandish statements in the media. That's part of the reason.
We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah. Some of these guys will not be wearing. Kenny Van Doren will not be a part of this podcast next year. He hasn't deserved it. Or he doesn't deserve it, or whatever he said.
I'll point it out. Mick Cronin, like you guys said, has always been kind of off the beaten path. Sebastian Mack leaves that team, everything went to shit.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll point it out. I'll say it. No one said it yet. No one has said it yet.
Or it makes you wonder why Sebastian Mack maybe wanted to leave UCLA. I'm not saying that there is no actual intel there, but I sure wouldn't want to play for this guy.
He was the glue guy. That's what he was.
It is insane because his personality just seems not great.
No.
And he is a hell of a coach. Like, I don't want to get that wrong. Like some of the work he did at Cincinnati, like the run he went on with that 11 seed UCLA team, Mick Cronin's a great coach. But he is maybe one of the most unlikable coaches I've ever seen. And I say that as someone that has like immense respect for suit coaches, which Mick Cronin is. Mick Cronin's a suited up every game. But this guy is so unlikable.
Is he number 2 or number 1 least liked suit coach before or after Nate Oates for you?
I dislike Nate Oates more than Mick Cronin.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Because he's in Mizzou's conference.
Yeah.
Nate didn't look at me when I yelled at him in the student section in 22-23. I just wanted him and Buzz to look over at me. All right. I know they heard me. The gym was silent. And I was not. The gym was
silent because there were 6 people in it.
Yeah, Kenny, don't give me that. Look, you were there. You know they heard me.
My main bird of the week this week is going to be the United States Bird Connection Eagle mascot. Easy.
Not our mascot. I learned this week. It's not the mascot.
Okay, whatever. It's a symbol. And you know what? My other. Is that even true? We don't have a mat.
No, it's not true. I just made that up.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you meant for like the Olympics.
He said it with so much earnestness, like a little kid that just learned a fact and has to tell everyone. He's like, "You sound like a kid that just found out Pluto wasn't a planet."
Yeah.
Like, actually, Pluto's not a planet.
It's not a planet.
No.
No. We're talking about the 9th planet in the solar system, Pluto.
Fine.
No, I'm talking Pluto, the dwarf planet.
Yes, we're talking about the same Pluto.
Okay.
Fine. Bird connection. They played Freebird in the arena in Italy after the U.S. scored the game-winning goal in overtime. The women's hockey team. What?
Checkmate, Kenny.
Checkmate. Circle gets the square. The U.S. wins 2-1 over Canada in women's hockey, gets the gold medal. It was a comeback. They were down 1-0. They forced overtime. They pulled their goalie with like 2 minutes left and scored a game-winning goal. It was electric. Very exciting win for the women's hockey team. Hopefully the men's team can make it a sweep over the weekend. Hillary Knight, who I've learned is just a legend for the U.S. women's hockey team, scored, and then Megan Keller got the game winner in overtime. She also had an assist.
I watched the U.S. women's game against Italy last week, and they would talk to the captain after the game because they were up 6-0. The coaches told them, let up, do not get hurt, because like Italy was trying to play as aggressive as they could, and they were up 6-0 going into the third period. And I was like, I think Tyler put it the right way, that the U.S. women's hockey team can let up goals at this point. I think they've only let up 2 in the entire tournament.
Yeah. I think they beat Canada like 5-0 earlier, and it was much closer this time around. So good for the U.S. It was very fun. I was
about a text in our group chat, by the way.
Tyler Kading, good friend of the show. He's been on here. I think he was our first guest.
Just a random person named Tyler. No one knows. Yeah, great result for the U.S. It was a very entertaining game there on Thursday. So congratulations to them. Best thing that you learned, Payton.
Best thing I learned this week, Mizzou softball. This is a few days old, but they finally did it, guys. They beat Duke. They did it. They finally got revenge.
Avenged.
They took down the Duke Blue Devils. It's been an up and down season for Mizzou softball, like very up and down, like a crazy roller coaster. But they did get a win over Duke, who I'm 99% sure was ranked for this game. Looking to build momentum before a pretty stacked SEC conference slate.
They were 4-7.
Yeah,
4 and then
4-7. Yep.
All 4 of those wins have come against teams that at least they're receiving votes in the top 25, and 3 came against teams ranked in the top 25. So I mean, that's still good. It's a hard slate when you start with a lot of these tournaments down south.
Yeah, Duke was 19th or 22nd, depending on who you ask, when Mizzou played them. Speaking of down south, they're in the Cajun AC Louisiana Classic. Sorry, Clash, not Classic. Houston and McNeese, and then they also will play Louisiana in one game for that. So there you go. And then the next tournament they have is back at home, so that'll be exciting. People have to get out to that, the Mizzou Invitational. Kenny, what'd you learn?
Best thing I learned this week: Blake Baker 1, Jaden Daniels 0. Former Missouri assistant Jake Olson, who was reportedly like really close to being hired by the Commanders, kind of in this wave of college coaches leaving for the NFL as the NFL staffs get filled out in these next couple of weeks and days. It ends up not happening. Jake Olson ultimately decided to stay in Baton Rouge with the Tigers, according to Pete Nakos of On3. Another win for Blake Baker, former Mizzou DC, Peyton's favorite DC ever.
I like that you said 1-0, like in favor of Baker over Daniels. Like there was not a gigantic game that we can.
Yep, I don't know what he's talking about. That was good. Peyton must have disconnected. You're back.
Daniels ran for 800 yards that game. Like,
to be fair, he ran through most of the NFL in his rookie year. So, what were you gonna do?
All that to be second best QB in the class at best.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams.
Speaking of Caleb Williams, my best thing I learned this week is that a new state might be getting an NFL team. This is related in relation to Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears. The headline here from ESPN. Courtney Cronin wrote the article. Indiana unanimously passes bill to lure Bears away from Chicago. Very, very exciting for Indiana. The bill, it would create the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. Am I even in the studio still? I am. Okay. The power to issue bonds and acquire land and finance construction for a stadium. Hammond, Indiana. The Hammond Bears. Peyton, you are a Bears fan. How do you feel about rooting for the Hammond Bears? I'm glad you pulled this up also.
I don't really care.
Oh, okay. All right.
Personally, I mean, look, I absolutely would prefer the Bears not leave the state of Illinois because it'd be a little silly. But I haven't lived in the Chicago area since I was 5. Probably never will again. Not saying I hate Chicago. I don't have plans to move back there anytime soon. So this doesn't really affect me. A good friend of the show, man, it's a friend of the show podcast, Adam Bednarak. He lives in Hammond. He coaches the Hammond Morton baseball team. So
there you go.
The goodness.
In fact, Kenny, please go find Adam Bednarak.
I'm not putting that post up. It is so bad, so poorly done. The AI one.
Yeah, it's so dumb looking, but it got a laugh out of me because of how ridiculous it looked.
I'll find it. Give me a second.
It doesn't really matter.
This is a good graphic that you pulled up, Kenny. So Payton, you know that's fair. It's in Indiana. What if they move to Davenport, Iowa, and become the Iowa Bears? Because apparently they want to try and get a bill. No, they're not going to. That was a very funny read. And then, yeah, CBS Sports posted a graphic where they called Iowa, Missouri. Oh, my God.
Hammond Bears. It's
Hammond
so
Bears.
dumb. It's
I can
so
barely read
funny.
it. What does it say? Oh, no, it doesn't say anything up there. Why is the image being super blurry as well? As just...
Shout out Abed.
No, even that's AI. I thought it was like a picture of them that they just photoshopped the background.
It is a photo of
that is them. It just got really blurry
because of the AI. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's a rough one. There you go, Hammond Bears. That's the best thing I learned. Best beats of the week. Got it to FanDuel. Payton, you've got another future.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cubs to win the NL Central simply because it didn't let you bet on who would be in last place. It's a rare time. I'll actually be pretty optimistic on one of my teams. I think the Cubs had a great year last year. They made the moves I think we all wanted to see, such as signing third baseman Alex Bregman, who will go into the Hall as a Cubby, hopefully. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch the NL Central because there's no reason the Cubs should not win it pretty handily. The Pirates are making an effort. The Reds have a great rotation. The Cardinals have young pieces, so you never really do know. But I think the Cubs should be taking it pretty handily this year. I feel pretty good about their chances.
Kenny, what's your best beat?
My best beat goes to SLU men's basketball. I don't really have a big reason for this game. Here is on Friday against VCU. 7.5 point favorites. Just a couple connections. I met some guys from Marquette past weekend. I asked them, you guys Shaka fans? And they're like, kind of up and down about Shaka. And I was like, well, me and some of my best friends saw Shaka Smart coach's last game at Texas. Shaka Smart is not involved in either of these teams. SLU's playing some good basketball, ranked right now. Let's take the senior Billikens in this game. Connection. Shaka used to coach at VCU, for those that don't know.
So he is involved in this game, kind of.
That was really funny.
That was pretty good. I'm sticking college basketball as well. Friday night hoops action, and another ranked mid-major team, but I'm betting against them. Kind of. I'm betting the Bowling Green Falcons to cover against the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. A seeming darling, but I want this podcast to be the first to put the kibosh on that. We are not Miami of Ohio believers. They are fraudulent. Oh, am I not speaking for all three of us here? I know I'm speaking for two of us.
No, I think Miami Ohio is going to make a run.
Ooh.
Why? What do you like most about them?
You guys don't like them.
Can you name 3 players?
So stupid.
I can't name 3 players either. I got to be honest. I know they.
Can you name their head coach, Kenny?
I can't.
It's a name you know.
Oh,
Hoiberg? No, I'm just kidding. That's Nebraska.
What?
But I thought that'd be funny. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Travis Steele. You have no idea who that is. I just wanted you to throw out a dumb name,
and he did. Success. So I'll take Bowling Green to cover, and maybe they'll win and expose Miami for the fraudulent team that they are. I'm not a believer. They've played nobody, and they barely beat MAC teams.
That's the thing. Look at some of their marginal wins. It's terrible.
It's bad.
Like, they went to overtime with Buffalo and Kent State in back-to-back games.
And frankly, to go into Kenny's beat a little bit, if St. Louis hadn't come a miracle buzzer beater away from beating Stanford, we would have been talking about them like they were the next Dayton going before they did lose to Rhode Island. So that doesn't help them anymore. But, they're the true. If you want to pick a mid-major, I'm backing the Billikens, not the Red Hawks.
St. Louis.
I was at the Junior Billiken school today.
Oh,
another connection. I'm taking SLU.
You gonna preview why you were there? Give the people what they want.
Story's already out there to see Mizzou signing.
Okay.
Wow. He said, "Screw teases. You go find out for your damn self." Payton, joke of the week.
Yes, joke of the week. I do have a joke. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. What did the hamburger name its baby?
Something junior.
Wrong. Incorrect.
Beef. Something with beef? No.
Nope. Well, kinda. Yeah.
Beef.
Nope. Not the word beef. Beef.
What?
Beef. Not the word beef. But what?
But beef. Not the word, but beef.
Just tell us.
I don't know.
What did the hamburger name its baby? Patty.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah Lemire, for the joke.
2019 Cubs player of the week or coach. I'm going to go Will Venable.
Brett Venables?
Will
you gonna
Venable.
Give a description?
He was the first base coach that year.
That's the only description you're going to give.
Yeah.
He had a major league career. He played for your favorite team, the Red Sox.
We're talking about coaching in the 2019 Cubs. We're not talking about anything else.
Why coaching?
I said player or coach.
Give me a player, man. Give me some Randy Rosario in there.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening.
Will Venable did not play for the Red Sox. I got him confused with Chris Young, I think.
We're appreciative of you. We will recap the Arkansas game for Monday. See how it goes for Mizzou. Don't let Darius Acuff score 50 points. That would be bad. That'd be a bad way to win. But Alabama did it. Maybe Mizzou can do it too. That'll do it for the Unwritten Rule. Thank you for watching and listening. We will see you next time.